One of the big objections, I think, in this area is that some people might say, how do we know that the Bible just hasn't been corrupted? So you're talking copies, there are Christian scribes over many, many, many generations. How do we know that the text of the Bible isn't just Chinese whispers over time where it's slowly being changed to suit political and theological agendas? In the mess of manuscripts that you're describing, what's your sense as to how you'd respond to that? Is this a big problem for Christianity?
No, it's not. That's the end of the discussion, right? You referred to Chinese whispers, or it's what's sometimes called the telephone game. That is a single line of transmission. It's single in the sense that it's me whispering into your ear, and then you whispering to someone else's ear. That's not true with the copying process of the New Testament. It's not a single line of transmission. It's multiple lines of transmission, and it's done by different authors writing in different locations to different audiences who are likewise in different geographical locations. And then copyists and scribes, they copy that text, and they're in different locations writing to different audiences who are themselves in different locations. And so you almost have layers upon layers of the multifaceted aspect of the text. So it's not a single line of transmission, it's multiple lines of transmission injected with steroids. When it came to scribes, they weren't asking for their qualifications, whether they had a diploma from Pharisee University. They wanted you to be able to get a copy of the text. And so this resulted in the spreading of these Christian documents really far, really quickly. And yes, that resulted in things like scribal errors and mistakes from handwriting. But it also means that pretty early on, within a couple of centuries, you have copies of the Gospels, of Acts, of the epistles of Paul and Peter and James and Jude in places all over North Africa, throughout the Middle East, even into Asia and the British Isles. And so the accusation of the Da Vinci Code one, that they inserted the divinity of Christ into the Bible, the nature of how the text was spread out throughout the ancient world is that no one person or no one group could have controlled the text at any one point in time. It was like shrapnel. They were blown everywhere all over the ancient world. In order for Constantine to have wanted to insert anything, he would have had to go and dig up copies of, say, the Gospel of John buried in the sands of Egypt hundreds of years before he was even born. It's not feasible and it's not probable. We know from the history of how the text spread, we know what Christians were reading in the 2nd century and in the 3rd and in the 4th and in the 5th, not just in Greek and Hebrew, but in Latin and in Coptic and in Old Church Slavonic and in Sahidic, Bohairic, you name the language. If it was in the ancient world, the Christians were trying to translate it into it. That history is just so vast, even under Roman persecution. The Christian message was just spread far and wide, and any accusation of full-scale corruption it would have been hard to do today. It was impossible to do then.